Welcome to the online classes of anatomy. I am Dr. A.K. Gupta, Assistant Professor, Department of Anatomy, Government Medical College, Delhi. Today I will talk to you about parasympathetic ganglia. Ganglia are the aggregations of nerve cells outside the central nervous system. So ganglia may be sensory or autonomic. Sensory may be related with the certain cranial nerves such as the trigeminal ganglia, the geniculate ganglia, the superior and inferior ganglia of the glossopharyngeal nerve, superior and inferior ganglia of the vagus nerve, and it may be related with the dorsal root ganglia of the spinal cord. The autonomic ganglia may be the sympathetic or parasympathetic. The sympathetic lie along the vertebral body. That may be the paravertebral or prevertebral. Paravertebral ganglia are present along the sympathetic trunk, whereas the prevertebral ganglia are the ciliary ganglia, superior mesenteric ganglia, inferior mesenteric ganglia, and the parasympathetic ganglia are also related to certain cranial nerves such as the third cranial nerve, that is known as the ciliary ganglia, along with the seventh cranial nerve, that is the pterygopalatine ganglia, and also again with the seventh cranial nerve, that is the submandibular ganglia, or along the ninth cranial nerve, that is the otic ganglia. The sensory ganglia and autonomic ganglia can be differentiated. In sensory ganglia, the neurons cells are the pseudo unipolar and of varying size. It is rounded, nucleus is central, and well-defined satellite bodies. The nerve fibers are arranged in bundles, whereas in autonomic ganglia, the cells are the multipolar neurons with angles, eccentrically placed nucleus, less well-defined satellite bodies, and no bundles of the nerve fibers. Now come to the parasympathetic ganglia in details. Number one is the ciliary ganglia. As you know, these ganglia are the parasympathetic, so the nerve cells are present only the parasympathetic nerve cells over here, 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 or here, and other fibers passes through this, but there is no synapse in these areas. So ciliary ganglia is located in the orbit. The parasympathetic fibers are coming from the Edinger-Westphal nucleus of the midbrain. This is the preganglionic nerve, passes through the superior orbital fissure, enter into the orbit, join through the nerve to the inferior oblique muscle, then join the ciliary ganglia. Here synapse of the neurons occurs and postganglionic nerve fibers passes through the short ciliary nerve to supply the ciliaris muscle and the sphincter pupillae. But this also has some sympathetic fibers also. that arises from the internal carotid artery in the cavernous sinus. From here, fibers passes through the nasociliary nerves or the ophthalmic nerve. These are the branches of the ophthalmic nerve, frontal, nasociliary and lacrimal. Through this, passes through this to supply the dilator pupillae and ciliary muscles. The sensory fibers are through the trigeminal ganglia, the nasociliary, and these supply the sensory supply. So this is about the ciliary ganglia. Now second one is the pterygopalatine or the sphenopalatine ganglia. This is present in the pterygopalatine fossa. The parasympathetic fibers arising from the lacrymatory nucleus and superior salivatory nucleus passes through the facial nerve. At the geniculate ganglion, there is a branch that is known as greater petrosal nerve. Passes through the pterygoid canal, then enters into the pterygopalatine fossa. Here this joins and synapse. The postganglionic fibers arising from here passes through many branches such as the ganglionic branches and zygomatic branches. This is maxillary nerve, zygomatic branch. So this passes into the orbit, zygomatic nerve, joins the lacrimal branch of the ophthalmic nerve to supply the lacrimal gland. The ganglionic branches are the orbital, nasal, pharyngeal and palatal to supply the mucous membrane of the supplied area, the orbit, nasal cavity, pharynx, palate, etc. The sympathetic fibers coming through the internal carotid nerve artery around which the sympathetic fibers are present. The deep petrosal nerve passes through again the pterygoid canal, and these are known as median nerve to pterygoid canal or median nerve. Then this passes through it to supply the respected areas. The sensory is coming through the maxillary nerve. So this is about the pterygopalatine ganglia. Now come to the submandibular ganglia. This is present in the deep to the mandible. And the parasympathetic fibers are coming through the superior salivatory nucleus, facial nerve, chorda tympani branch. This chorda tympani passes through the middle ear and emerges through the anterior canaliculus, join the lingual nerve, and here is synapse. The postganglionic fibers arising from here passes through the lingual nerve to supply the submandibular salivary gland and sublingual salivary gland. Whereas the sympathetic fibers coming from the facial artery, the sympathetic plexus around the facial artery to supply this region. Whereas sensory part is through the lingual nerve. That is the branch of the mandibular nerve. Lastly, the otic ganglia. This is present in the infratemporal fossa, just below the base of the cranium and below the foramen ovale. The parasympathetic fibers arising from the inferior salivatory nucleus in upper part of the medulla passes through the ninth cranial nerve, then it passes to the middle ear. Forming tympanic plexus. Then a branch that is known as lesser petrosal passes through a canal into the cranial cavity, middle cranial fossa. Then enters the foramen ovale and joins the mandibular nerve. Here the postganglionic fibers arrive in the otic ganglia and that passes through the auriculotemporal nerve to supply the parotid salivary gland. The sympathetic fibers are coming through the sympathetic fibers around the middle meningeal artery to supply this region. The sensory are through the auriculotemporal nerve. This also has some motor fibers, that is the fibers of the tensor veli palatini and tensor tympani through the branch of the nerve to medial pterygoid muscle. So these are about the otic ganglia. Now applied anatomy. If there is injury to the ciliary ganglia, the pupil will dilate and this don't respond to the light. That is known as Adie's pupil. The pterygopalatine ganglia may be blocked in cases of trigeminal neuralgia or the migraine. Another one is the Ramsay-Hunt syndrome. If there is herpes zoster of this geniculate ganglia, this will lead to the hyperacusis. That means stapedius muscle is involved. There is Bell's palsy, and there is loss of taste from anterior two-thirds of the tongue. So this is the Ramsay-Hunt syndrome. Another one is the crocodile tear syndrome. If the cauda tympani nerve is injured, this may misalign with the greater petrosal nerve. Regeneration may lead to mingling of the greater petrosal and cauda tympani, so that when a person eats, then there will be lacrimation. That is known as crocodile tear syndrome. Another one is the French syndrome. This is sometimes auricular. In case of parotidectomy, the auriculotemporal nerve is injured and the nerve misaligned during regeneration with the sympathetic fibers of the middle meningeal artery. So what happens? There will be pain, swelling, sweating, flushing around the supplied area. That means the parotid region. So this is all about the parasympathetic ganglia. Thank you.